We're waiting for Cindy. You're all right. We'll give you a second to get
Way to go, Cindy.
Steve Bond, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. It's March 16th, 2020. I've moved over to distance myself a little bit from Commissioner Aaron Mays, who represents District 3. Kevin Cook, Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2, is not with us today, but he's called in, so we have him on the phone. And I'm Bill Rippon. I represent District 1. What is first on the agenda?
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda. Second. Motion's been made. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 4, new business, A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Mr. Chairman, this morning we have vouchers that total $2,361,149.98. The highlight of the voucher report, under building maintenance, Carruthers Construction, $86,034. That is for the baby pool at the Shawnee North Aquatic. Holding accounts with the state of Kansas, $784,720.16. Health insurance premiums, $279, $173.68. Under bridge, we have Bettis Construction, $301,693.10. That's for the work on 29th Street. And then under equipment, Motorola, $109,467.50. And finally, under election, the software, $137,294.19. I don't have any questions regarding the vouchers and would move for their approval.
Second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move that we approve the correction orders. Second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item B, information technology number 1, consider approval of request to enter into contract negotiations with SciTech Media Systems, Inc. for the purchase of hardware and installation services for audiovisual equipment upgrades in the Board of County Commissioners chambers and for the shared conference room in the North Annex building.
Good morning, Commissioners. Pat Oblander with the Information Technology Department. Back in December of last year, the Board of County Commissioners authorized $30,000 project budget for the renovation of audiovisual equipment in the commission chambers and the North Annex shared conference room. There was also permission granted to publish an RFP that was published on January 28th. We had a vendor walkthrough that had 5 vendors that responded, that toured both the Board of County Commissioners area and the conference room at the North Annex. A lot of good questions were asked, and I think good answers were provided. The RFP responses were received from 5 vendors on February 21st, 2020. Those ranged from $13,056 to $28,427, all of which came in under the project budget. The responses were also reviewed by the Professional Services Committee, and the unanimous consensus among the committee members was that we would go with SciTech Media Systems to negotiate a final price and to go ahead with the purchase of the upgrades. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Yes. Would we be getting rid of this projection type screen and going more to?
Yes, that is a fundamental plan. Some of the fundamental things that we want to do is replace this podium with a podium that has an actual screen in it for the presenters to view and control their presentations. We would also replace this projection screen with an LED or LCD, or an LED type monitor like we have in the back, probably about the same size, if not a little bit smaller than this, but a lot more clear and bright. Replace that one as well. And then at the North Annex, we have about the same situation, a less than optimal projection system that we'd be replacing with LCD panels as well.
Pat, will these be repurposed in some way in the county?
Yes, they would be reused. This one may be kept and just moved to a new position as part of the upgrades. We do not have a final list of exactly the equipment that we'd be purchasing, but those are the general steps that we wanted to take in getting the upgrades accomplished.
Very good. I will move for approval.
Second.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Item C, Public Works. Number 1, consider approval of request to issue a request for quotation for the milling and sweeping of pavement segments on Southwest Wanamaker, Southwest 10th, and Urish, Southwest 57th, Southeast 43rd, and Southwest Urish Road, prior to placing an overlay at an estimated cost of $175,000 with funding from the 2020 Public Works Road Maintenance Fund.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. Yes, I'm here before you asking you to permission to solicit bids for milling and sweeping for our 2020 maintenance program. What we like to do is bring in a contractor to do the milling and sweeping, and then county forces and county equipment place the nominally 2-inch overlay. You might ask, why do we mill and sweep before we do the overlay, rather than just putting the overlay down on top of the existing pavement? Well, we think we can control the grade and the comfort of the driver if we mill and sweep first and then place an overlay. We can control the grade, cross slope, etc. better if we do that. The list of projects, I think the county clerk kind of listed them, but I thought I'd go into a little more detail. We want to do this year, the first project we'll do is Southwest Wanamaker Road from Southwest 85th to just north of 77th. Actually, we'll go all the way to the south end of the KTA Bridge. The intersection of Southwest 10th and Urish Road, Southwest 57th from Burlingame Road to the city limits, Southeast 45th from Stubb Road to the Shawnee Douglas County line. And then as a contingency project, if we have time, if the weather permits, and we have basically time and weather is really what's going to dictate, is Southwest Urish Road from Huntoon to 10th Street. Again, I anticipate that this will cost approximately $175,000. I used a unit cost that I thought was appropriate for the quantity that we have this year. And with that, I'm willing to take your questions.
Any questions?
Yeah, Kurt, is any patching done after the milling is done?
If we find areas where the underlying pavement is needing patching, we will definitely do that before we put an overlay down, because if we don't do that, your overlay is going to show that hole. So it's mandatory that we do any patching once the milling takes place.
Thank you.
Mhm.
No other questions? I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item?
Item C2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-106-2020 with Reese Construction Company, Inc. for the replacement of the Southeast 69th Street Bridge over tributary to Lynn Creek project at a cost of $514,676.61, with funding from the countywide half-cent sales tax.
Courtney House, Director of Public Works. Just a little history to refresh your memory. This was the project that we were approximately $300 over 110% of the engineer's estimate. This project's located near the intersection of Southeast 69th and Paulin Road. We relet the project on February 28th, and rather than receiving 4 bids in the initial letting, we received 2 bids. But I'm pleased to announce that the low bid came in well below the revised engineering estimate. What we did after we had to reject all the bids the first time around is we went in, sharpened our pencil, removed some, I guess you'd call ancillary items from the project. And then when we relet, the low bid was Reese Construction. So I'm here before you asking that the bid by Reese be approved and we enter into a contract for construction for this project. At this time, it's anticipated that we'll start June 1, and we will have to complete, contract completion is September 25th. We have worked with the school district. They're aware of when we're going to be working and the impacts to school bus routes. With that, I'll take your questions.
What was our original engineer's estimate, do you recall?
492,000.
492, and then, and did you have another estimate then for other revised?
515.
Okay.
And what that did was that recognizes the increase in unit prices that we've seen.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
I'll move to approve.
Mr. Chairman, if we could, have we worked with Reese Construction in the past?
Yes, we have, and then we've had great luck with them.
Good. No, I don't have any other questions.
Okay, you made a motion?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll second that. Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you,
item.
Commissioner.
Thank you, Kerb. Next item.
Item D, solid waste. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-109-2020 with Engineering Solutions and Design for the completion and publication of the 2020 Shawnee County Solid Waste Management Plan at a cost of $70,790, with funding from the Solid Waste Collections operational budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Sutton, Director of Solid Waste. Just refresh everybody's memory. Every 5 years, the County Commissioners must approve and submit a solid waste management plan for Shawnee County to KDHE as a state statute. Last year, we proposed going out for bid with a third-party consultant for the completion of this plan, and then on January 30th, the Commission approved entering into contract with Engineering Solutions and Design. We got through some negotiations. We got the price down of the contract to where it needs to be. So I'm before you asking to approve of the contract presented, and to the price of $70,790 for the contract. And upon awarding, the work will commence immediately.
Any questions?
I have any questions.
What was
I
this?
move for approval.
Okay, I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item D2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-110-2020 with Ripple Glass LLC for the transportation, processing, and recycling of 3 mixed glass collection 3-mix glass collected by the Solid Waste Department at no cost to Shawnee County.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Sutton again, Director of Solid Waste. On January 23rd, the Commission approved a request to go out for proposals to see if there's any vendors out there in the state of Kansas that would take our recycled glass at no cost to the county for the sole purpose of actually recycling it and improving the sustainability of that resource, as well as cutting costs for the recycling department. One bid was submitted, that being Ripple Glass out of Kansas City, and they will transport and process any of our collected glass at no cost to the county. Our only cost is our collection and then our little infrastructure, which we already got completed. So we're here to ask to award of this contract at no cost to Ripple Glass for the processing and transportation of our recycled glass.
Could you tell me what 3-mix glass is?
Yes, sir. 3-mix glass is just the industry label that they put on the glass. It's clear glass, brown glass, and then the green glass. So mixed together, they just call it a 3-mix glass.
I would move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next item, thank you. Bill?
Item E, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider approval of request to fill a recreation leader position at an annual salary including benefits of $46,030.40 and to fill any subsequent positions that become vacant from filling this position.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. This position became vacant due to a resignation, and we would just ask your permission to fill it. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Question.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Next item.
Item E2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-111-2020, amendment to agreements C-140-2019 and C-123-2015 with Wildcat Landscape LLC for park maintenance services through March 30, 2023, including an additional 76.6 acres at an annual total cost of $463,199.54 for year 1, $467,831.54 for year 2, and $472,509.86 for year 3, with the funding from the Parks Operation budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jeremy Myers, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. Before you, we have our actually original contract with our park maintenance, our grounds maintenance, with Wildcat Landscape, seeking approval to move forward into 2023 for them to continue their service. They have exhibited good response time and just wonderful customer service through my career so far here with Shawnee County for a whole year. We have updated maintenance standards, as we should be doing on a yearly basis, to review those, to make sure our contractors are aware of what we expect them to do, as well as our staff, so we're all on the same page. We did add new areas of 76.6 acres. Those are around ball fields that are already contracted with Wildcat Landscaping. We did feel that this is going to be a little more efficient. As they are already at the ball fields, they will mow and trim and maintain the areas around the ball fields. So I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Under park, it says park maintenance. It's more than just mowing, correct?
Yes, it is also landscaping where areas are landscaped, and we also have, cleaning off hard surfaces such as playgrounds and sidewalks.
They pick up trash if there's
They
trash
do.
in the park.
Yep, at least 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay, and flower beds.
Yes,
They take care of the flower beds.
the ones that are in the contract, yes.
I want to make sure that we monitor those and watch those flower beds. I think in the past, and I don't know about this particular contractor, but we've had some contractors kind of, that they haven't lived up to the letters of the contract, and I want to make sure that they do a good job taking care of these flower beds. So,
I agree with you, Commissioner, just because, we want to make sure our colorful in the parks and making sure that our landscape beds and flower beds are very attractive this year.
Jeremy, how do we decide what items we outsource and what we keep internal?
I think in the past, and I'm not going to speak for previous staff, but they look at certain areas. This contract, you know, a lot of the parks are mostly in quadrant, let me see here, quadrant 2 with the original contract. When we looked at what's going on around our ball fields and the contract that was approved in December for the sports department, we kind of looked at this might be a good opportunity for having Wildcat mow around the ball fields as well, instead of duplicating services or being there at the same time and having one contractor mow and then having our staff mow. So we really look at areas and we try to, you know, regionalize them as well.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions? More?
I don't have any questions. I move for approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next item, thank you, Jeremy.
Item E3, consider authorization and execution of contract C-112-2020, amendment to contract C-389-2018 with CBS integration to increase the monitoring locations and services of facility alarm systems at an annual cost of $9,919.20, 31 landline sites at $19.99 a month, and 9 wireless sites at $22.99 a month, with funding from the Parks Operation budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Cope, Shawnee County Park Police. As said, we are requesting that we amend the contract with CBS monitoring due to installation of a new system, upgrade of another system, and replacement of a system that went out of service. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
Where does this system, what all does it cover as far as, is it at
It's-
one location or is it throughout?
No,
the whole-
there's 39, I think we have 39 locations altogether.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner May, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next item?
Item E4, consider authorization and execution of contract C-113-2020, Amendment 1 to contract C-238-2019 with Seni Company, setting the guaranteed maximum price for renovations to the Hillcrest Community Center at $616,948, with $570,390 project GMP and funding from the Capital Maintenance 3R Fund, and $46,558 pre-construction design phase utilizing the Building Maintenance Fund.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. This is the continuation of the Hillcrest Park renovation project, I'll call it. This started long before I got here, but we've done a lot of renovations in the park itself. Now we're moving to the community center at Hillcrest. I have some folks here from Seni Construction and Civium Architects that I'll bring up in a minute, and they'd like to give us a little presentation. But I'll give you just a little bit of background. As we started to get into this project, which is essentially to renovate, create a new entrance in the front of the building. We'll show you that. Also renovate the lobby and a few other spaces inside the facility. As we got into the project, we found that there were some issues with the front facade. There's a particular kind of brick there that there's water has gotten behind that and compromised it, so that has bumped the cost of this project up by over $100,000. But we feel like it's necessary to address this now. If we don't, I think these improvements that we make will be for naught. So with that, I would like to bring the folks up that would like to do the presentation. I believe Cindy Hill from Seni Construction, and I'll stand for any questions afterwards.
Good morning, excuse me. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Cindy Hill, a project manager with Seni Company. We've been working on putting this project together for several months now, and feel that we've got a really nice design, and Theodore's got some information and some pictures to show you. So I don't have, I'm just gonna have him show you some pictures. You've got the information, and if you have any questions whatsoever, we'll be right here. But it's a renovation of the entire lobby area of the building and putting a new front entrance on the building and some of the other things that Tim talked about. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
Hello, my name is Theodore Demoncho. I'm with Civium, part of the design build team, and I brought some images to share with you. First image is looking from the parking lot approach to Hillcrest, and we're working on developing a new entrance. The current entrance is back around the corner of the building, and we're looking to get an entrance that's not only visible from the approach to the facility, but also from the parking lot. This image shows some landscape development that Park and Recs are going to be providing as part of their portion of the work. Or the lobby. This is an image looking at the kind of a bird's eye view, and we're going to provide a new entry signage piece that also has some kind of triple duty. It provides a security screen for people that are operating maintaining the equipment up on the roof, so that'll now be code compliant in terms of distance of the roof edge, and it also provides some screening so that the rooftop units aren't the most prominent piece in the facility. This is another image kind of cutting through the facility with a hot butter knife. We're looking at getting a new entry, and we've worked with Park and Recs to get the kind of the information or the security kiosk in close proximity to that entry piece, and also at a place in the center of the kind of the commons area, so that it can keep an eye on the kind of lobby and study spaces within the facility, as well as be a point of contact in that facility. There's two meeting spaces. One we're going to open up on the west side of the building, and there's an existing meeting room that we're going to redo the finishes on. Also towards the back of the facility, currently there's steel doors that are the entry point into the gymnasium. We're looking to open those up with glass doors along with some windows, so we have some view back and forth to that gym space from the commons. This is a sketch image of the entry of the facility, or the commons area. We'll put in new ceiling material, new flooring material, new paint finishes within the space to update those. And these fire pit that's currently in the facility, you have to do that soon. This is a plan, a floor plan, and this kind of shows the extent of the finishes. We're updating, again, the multipurpose room, the lounge. We'll bring in new finishes into the commons, along with the connecting corridor down to kitchen and existing meeting rooms. If you have any questions?
I like that you've opened up the lobby looking back into the gym. I think that's a nice feature, and also it looks like we have better visibility out towards the parking lot. It seems like most crimes that happen in parks happen in parking lots, people breaking into cars, so anytime you can improve the view back to the parking lot, that's a plus. I like the layout of the main desk right at the entrance. Looks nice.
No, we try to do, we try to think through the process and try to give kind of double value. It's like working a good game of Scrabble. If you can get the double, triple word scores, that's where we aim for. Even with the entry piece and the connection to the staff point, the vestibule ends up being a seating spot. So if you're waiting for a ride, it develops that place where you can kind of keep an eye on who's coming in and out of the facility or who's waiting for a ride. So those opportunities are, I think, picked up in this plan. Thank you.
Thanks, Theodore. Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
this might be a question for Tim or Theodore, and I'm not sure which. Under the contract, under owner's contingency, we have budgeted $25,000 for contingency under the lobby, but there's no contingency budgeted for the exterior or the new offices. Is that $25,000 to go over all three, and it just got put under the lobby?
Yes, Commissioner Cook, that's my understanding, that the $25,000 contingency is for the entire project.
And then under general conditions, we budgeted $22,200 for the exterior, and then we budgeted $37,800 for the lobby under general conditions. What exactly are general conditions that we have set aside roughly $60,000 for?
Commissioner Cook, those general conditions include supervision, dumpsters, all the temporary protection involved for the project, all those things that you need to put a project together that aren't material to the job. So yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions about that?
No, I do not have any. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Tim, will we have security cameras throughout this facility, and will they be monitored like that main desk?
Yeah, we talked about making sure that through the process that we're putting in the appropriate, we're running the appropriate electricity, we're putting it in the right spots to do that, but I don't believe that's part of the actual project right now. That would be something that we would add after the fact.
Okay. Yes.
Tim, does this number here include the FF&E?
I believe that it does. I don't know the answer to that, Commissioner Mays. No, it does not.
It does include the big reception desk,
Okay.
but other than that, there's not.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. We'll have to, you're right, we'll have to go in and matter of fact, we've got staff that have been looking at those things currently and trying to put together a budget for that.
All right. Any other questions?
No, I'd move to approve.
Oh,
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Cindy, Theodore, thank you very much. Next item.
Item F, Sheriff's Office. Number 1, acknowledge receipt of correspondence from Sheriff Hill regarding a revised agreement, contract C-114-2020, with the City of Topeka for maintenance and repair services for the Law Enforcement Center.
Do we have anyone here from the Sheriff's Department? Okay. Oh.
It's
Distance. Good man.
Practicing social distancing there. Good morning, Commissioners. Matt Patterson, General Counsel, Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. Before you is the approval of a revised maintenance agreement for the Law Enforcement Center. This provides for the general maintenance and repairs. As the Commission knows, that building is owned by the city, where the Sheriff's Office is just a tenant in that building. They provide maintenance service. What we found is, through some issues that arose and that I won't go into, that there were 4 or 5 maintenance agreements that had evolved over the years, and we've never went back and revoked any prior agreements. So depending on what the issue was, you had to go to agreement 3 or agreement 2, and it just really became unworkable. So we sat down with the counselor's office and the city at the city attorney's office to come up with one user-friendly, workable maintenance agreement for that building that I think accomplishes that. It revokes all prior agreements going back 20 years or more, and It has been approved by the city and city manager's office and been vetted by the counselor's office. So I'd stand for any questions.
Any questions?
Nope.
Mr. Cook?
I have none.
I'll move.
I'll move to acknowledge receipt.
I'll second that. Motion's been made to acknowledge receipt by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Thank you, Ned. Next item.
Item 5, administrative communications.
Okay, at this time, we'll allow anyone from the public or from the county to speak on any subjects. Somehow I knew.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Oakes from the Health Department. So I do want to give you an update on our COVID-19 response and some information that has come across. We worked pretty much all weekend, but yesterday. So first of all, for Shawnee County, we still do not have any positive tests in Shawnee County. I keep saying I expect that any minute, and I'm still saying that. I expect that any minute. Right now, we have 10 tests that have been negative, and we have 11 that we're waiting to hear results on. So the big numbers, we're monitoring 33 people, and that has increased as I've watched my phone. Anyone who's been traveling to Europe, to China, to the level 2, level 3 areas, we are already putting them in quarantine and monitoring them. So then yesterday, KDHE, the Kansas Department of Health and Environment, issued new guidance for monitoring. So anyone who has traveled to a state with known widespread community transmission, that would be California, New York, Washington State. It says on or after March 15th, but they set a date, so really going forward. Anyone who visited Eagle, Summit, Pitkin, and Gunnison counties in Colorado within the past week, traveled on a cruise ship on or after March 15th. People who've previously been told by public health to quarantine because of their cruise ship travel should finish out their quarantine. Traveled internationally on or after March 15th, so that's anywhere internationally. People who've been previously told by public health to quarantine because of their international travel should finish out their quarantine. So, and if you have received notification from us, from KDHE, that you were in close contact of a laboratory confirmed case of COVID-19, you should also quarantine at home for 14 days. So presently, at this moment, and I keep saying that because this changed so quickly, so we're trying to get information out as quickly as we can. If you need to be quarantined, if you fall in any of those categories, you need to call 785-806-6297. Again, 785-806-6297. That is our health department line. You will be leaving a message. We're working on getting more staff shifted into the response, and getting some volunteers to answer the phones and help with that. So please leave a message. We'll get back to you. If you have symptoms and you think you could possibly have COVID-19, please call before you go anywhere to be tested. This is so important. We do not want symptomatic folks out unless we know you're coming and we can make arrangements. So if you are a KU Health Systems St. Francis campus or KU Health System St. Francis patient, you need to call your individual healthcare provider. If you are a Stormont Cotton O'Neill patient, call your healthcare provider. Stormont has also given a phone number, 785-354-6000. That's 785-354-6000. So I think that is all I have right now. We're probably going to be, I know today the health officer, emergency management staff, myself will be discussing the new travel guidance and the new guidance from the Centers for Disease Control to cancel events of 50 persons or over for the next 8 weeks. We're going to be getting some guidance out on that. That came out yesterday. So, I also just want to thank, there's so many people that have worked so hard on this and working so well together. Kellen Sice, such a difficult decision to cancel that wrestling meet. It was the right decision, it's a difficult decision. All of our school partners, that was another really difficult decision. We know we're putting people in a very inconvenient spot, and it's difficult to go to work and take care of your children. We know how difficult that is. We're also concerned about children who that may be their only source of meals. I know that I have seen guidance from so far 2 school districts. I think they're all getting it out. They're working on sack meals and ways to get children fed, so those things are happening. I also want to thank Dusty Nichols and Aaron Mahan. We are just talking and meeting every day, so they're working very long hours. Angela Lewis has worked very closely with me. Brian Cole, we're working on the jail and what needs to happen there. Tim Laurent, what a difficult decision to close the community centers, and so I talked to him during the weekend. Jim Crowell, I told him he knows it's serious when I'm calling him on Sunday, so that did happen. Pat O'Blander, we've asked IT to do some pretty impossible things, and they're helping us very much. And I know there's people I'm not mentioning, but this is an all hands on deck. It's not going to get any better for a while, but we're going to continue the hard work we're doing. And again, I just want to stress social distancing. You're doing great today. Let's keep it up. Try to work from home if people can work from home. If you can keep your distance from folks, that's what we want to do. Again, the virus will be here. We're trying to slow down its spread so we don't overwhelm our healthcare system. And I think if you look at Europe, you know what's happening there. So we want to make sure we can try to do everything we can to keep that from happening here. So I know Dusty is up here to also speak, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you have at this point.
Any questions?
Linda,
Yes, sir.
thank you guys all for the work that you did over the weekend and last week, I guess, even. I know that you guys are putting in a lot of extra hours, and we all appreciate it, I think. So I did want to ask about the testing. Is that something that's readily available now if somebody does feel that they have symptoms?
It's available. I look for the rapid test to come online soon. We don't have it yet here in Kansas. So right now, the Kansas Department of Health and Environment is still doing all the testing. So you can imagine they're working 24 hours a day. And so the testing is still happening as it needs to. It's just we're still trying to get the rapid tests online. And I do anticipate that happening, I hope, soon.
And one other question. Do you guys have a network of volunteers to help out with the response? I know you mentioned answering phones and things like that. Are there folks there qualified that you guys have?
We do have, I know Dusty can talk about some of his volunteers. We have the Medical Reserve Corps with the health department, and we will be reaching out to those folks. But again, let us reach out to you because we need to be sure we have something for you to do, and we also want to keep you safe. We don't want, 50 people in that little clinic on 10th Street because that just isn't a safe environment right now to do that. So, because of the tight quarters. So we're working on ways to have people help us while keeping this social distancing going.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dusty Nichols, Emergency Management. I just wanted to touch on a few things, kind of expanding on what Linda was just talking about. The planning team has been fully engaged, not just within the county, but we are reaching out to all the partners, public, private. We are talking multiple times a day with city officials and city leadership. We've also set up some alerts, so our emails, some important emails don't get lost in the emails that, I got 118 in 3 minutes the other day, so they're flying. So we're setting up alerts so those don't get lost, so that leadership important, those important emails don't get lost. I do want to stress that we are not doing knee-jerk reaction. Emergency management has put these plans in. We've trained people over the past 10 years. Me specifically, I know we've been teaching classes at least for the last 6 years on how to respond. We're using the same structure that we've used every time before. It's the incident command structure based on national response planning, the Kansas response plan. All the systems are in place. We are using the plan. So I just want to stress everything that comes into us, we're analyzing. We're trying to make the absolute best decisions, and these decisions are very difficult. But we're getting all the right people in the right places to make those decisions. Again, this is not knee-jerk stuff. We are very conscious of how these things roll out. We're looking at the domino effects. We're applying strategic planning elements to this. So I just wanted to make sure, because I had some questions on how that's being done. It's being done the same way we did Stampede, all these other events. So it's just a little twist on what we're doing. And I know it is new. We haven't experienced this in our country to this extent. So please be patient. And I do want to talk about a little bit about some of the risk assessments. We are doing risk assessments for every individual. Now, Dr. Pizzino is an expert at this, and It's been really interesting and an honor to work with him on this stuff. I'm learning a lot as well. But applying a risk assessment, if you have an organization that's having meetings, or you're a place of worship or a merchant somewhere, apply that risk assessment. Think about all those people who are working with you. Think about continuity of operations or business continuity. What are those key things that you need to do to keep your business running, and are there alternate ways to do those things? That said, if you are an individual who is maybe critical of how things are being done, apply a personal risk assessment. If you don't want to go, don't go. Really think about your health, your concerns, all those things. This is not a panic mode. This is a stop, think, and react mode. Act on fact. Think about your situation, and if you feel the risk is too high for you as an individual or a family member, then apply those risk assessment measures to yourself and make those decisions. We are not in a position to make decisions for every individual. That's not our job. We're trying to protect an entire community based on the information and guidance that we're given as well. So I just wanted to put those things out, and we really want people to understand it's your decision. That personal responsibility, that personal risk assessment relies on you as well. As far as volunteers go, we do have a volunteer corps, medical reserve corps. We have the volunteers and police service that PD uses. We have a community emergency response team where those people are trained. And for us, there's a difference between volunteers and trained volunteers. When the need comes, we will call on those people. But again, it's just like everything else, social distancing. We're not going to be calling meetings just to bring people together when we can do a lot of stuff digitally and so forth. And the last thing I want to put out, along with the current risks and threats that are out there that we're dealing with, this kind of gets lost in the mix, the cyber issues. Please don't click on stuff. Don't cause any more problems for yourself. Follow the guidance that your IT departments put out. Use smart decision making when you're dealing with emails. That's about all I could say on that, because that's not my expertise, other than to say apply a risk assessment to it. So I'll be here for questions as well.
Any questions? Thank you, Justin. Anyone else? Commissioner Cook?
Well, I had a very good trip to all of the vacation spots, but as Dusty said, today we are exercising social distancing, following all the recommendations. None of my family has any symptoms, or we are asymptomatic, but we are taking precautions as directed by our officials. So I'd like to thank you all for allowing me to call in today and continue to participate.
Thank you. Larry?
Good morning, Commissioners. Larry Maw, Shawnee County Treasurer. As you know, our offices in particular have several hundred people who come through every day. So we're going to take some measures to limit that number of people. So effective immediately, we're suspending all walk-in registration renewals. This will require that renewals will be done online or by mail. In addition, non-essential title work is being eliminated, and we're asking any persons who need to visit our office to get in line online. Anyone who gets a ticket online or in person will be asked, or will be not admitted to our office until we're ready to process their transaction. We will be asking them to stay in the parking lot in their cars, not even to congregate in the hallways. So they should stay out of our office, and they will not be admitted into the office until they get that 20-minute warning. I would ask them not to panic, because we have a 45-minute grace period, so you have plenty of time to get in. Don't have an accident because you think you're going to miss the opportunity. But you will not be permitted into the office until we're ready to actually do your transaction. We will have drop boxes at the courthouse and the 17th Street Annex if they wish to drop their renewals off. Remember to bring your proof of insurance when you do that, or if you mail it in. This is a year to renew personalized tags. If you need to renew your personalized tag, you may be able to do that by mail or by drop-off. We will not accept orders for new personalized tags unless it's associated with a recent purchase. Disabled placards may be ordered and renewed by mail, fax, or online. Refunds,
lien releases and duplicate title applications are available through mail and online. If you need any of those forms, you can go out on the website, go follow the links that are at the Treasurer's Office or at the Kansas Department of Revenue. We will accept personal property and real estate payments, though I highly encourage the public to mail those in, drop them off, or even do it online. If they have any questions, they can call our office. The telephone numbers are on the website. For motor vehicle, it's 251-5415, and for personal property and real estate, it's 251-5416. We know that these actions are going to create inconvenience, but they're the minimum we can do to minimize the contact between the public and our staff, and we think that that's their safety is the priority. Glad to answer any questions you have.
Questions? Commissioner Cook?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Larry.
Good morning, Commissioners. Lee Welch, Court Administrator, 3rd Judicial District. Just to jump on the bandwagon, I'll let you know a little bit about what the courts have done with the COVID-19 pandemic. Early last week, we ceased all court services, face-to-face communications, meeting with clients, no swabs, no UAs, no face-to-face reporting. All reporting is done by phone. And the only people that we are providing UAs for are those that are already participating in drug court. So it's a very limited number of people. On Friday, Judge Anderson, our new chief judge, entered administrative orders basically directing those activities be halted or suspended for the time being, and that for court services will be indefinitely. Court functions themselves have changed through April 3rd. We've suspended all of our large-scale dockets. That includes our DUI docket, our traffic docket, evictions, small claims, misdemeanor criminal. Like I said, that will be through April 3rd unless that changes between now and then. We are still continuing with jury trials. We had a first-degree murder trial start today, and what we did was we had half of the potential jurors come in at 8, so the number was under 50, and we have the other half reporting this afternoon. So we've tried to accommodate those less than 50 gatherings with adequate space to the best we can. We do have a meeting with our judges at noon, so we may be changing some of that based upon their feelings and desires. We've also been given some guidance and information from the Office of Judicial Administration as far as leave time associated with employees that do show signs or symptoms or are confirmed at some point. So, any questions?
Thank you very much. No question. Commissioner Mays?
Nothing from me.
I would just like to thank a lot of our staff, the Health Department, Linda Oaks, your staff, Dusty Nichols, your staff, Emergency Preparedness, and Dr. Petzino. I know they had a long weekend. There's no let up, but there are other departments. I know even our legal department got involved. But I just want to thank everybody for all the hours they put in, and hopefully we'll nip this all in the bud. A lot of this is common sense, you know, stay at home. You don't need to be out doing a lot of different things. Try to limit these gatherings that we have around in different meetings. If you don't need them, let's not have them. And so I think we'll stay on top of all this and reduce the spread of this virus, and we'll know how effective we've been here in the next couple of weeks. But hopefully we stop it. And I always think that warm weather helps too when we get some sunshine, and it's like people come out of their houses, and they do call winter flu season for a reason, and I think that will help tremendously when we get into warmer weather. So, but until then, try to reduce your risk. Stay at home when you can, and just use common sense. We do not have a need for executive session today, but we will have a department head meeting immediately following this meeting. Any other comments or concerns? We're now adjourned.